Alrighty, thank you for joining us with this week's Let's Play with Zori. Continuing on with Prosperity's Mystery. Alrighty. I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking it too. This scary Slyvari was Scarlet. Exactly, but are we sure? Who else would it be? It all adds up. So, what do you want to do about it? That door's got to be trapped. We proceed with caution. What are you waiting for? We're sure it was Scarlet who lived here. Did you hear that char by the well? I heard, but we have to be careful. It could be trapped. You stand back. I'll break it down. No, Bram, not so fast. What does Rock say? She thinks, and I agree, that we need to get in there safely. Examine the door.
Stay by me, Timey.
The crackle of magic creates a steady hum around the store. It's locked, and the threat is clear. Oh, I'm just gonna sit here and wand it to death. Alright.
All clear.
Can you tell? Is it really Scarlet's room? What? Scruffy, stand guard. Come on, Bram, get in here.
How did he manage to get through that tiny little door?
Looks like the villagers were right. Scarlet was here. Looks like the villagers were right. Scarlet was here.
The dust in here is thick, and these plants are all but dead. She definitely hasn't been here in a long time. Look, look, look! This is a historical find!
Careful now. You'll pop a gasket.
She hasn't been here in a very long time. This, oh, and that great Glarg!
Language.
Sorry, I didn't know you spoke Eton.
What is this
What do you say we break open some of these crates? One good whack with my mace and...
No, no, no! Be careful. You could destroy something extremely valuable.
We should probably report this find to somebody. Ellen Keel, perhaps?
No, no, are you crazy? You can't tell anybody. They'd come and take it all away. I need time.
What do you need time for? You don't need to be digging in this old junk.
It is not junk.
Scarlet's dead. Let's let sleeping dragons lie.
I found something interesting over here. Come and see.
Look at this book and tell me what you think. Okay.
At least now we know where she got the
The
inspiration.
Nature of Dragons by Ogden Stonehealer. Read more. Or should I say Dragons of Nature? Yes. Dragons have long been thought to be part of Ceara as the sun, moon, stars, land, and seas. No one, not even the dwarves, know how long we've been here. The Jotun and the Norn both have lingering stories passed down through the generations about the last rise of the dragons. Most scholars give tales little credit, unfortunately, so much time has passed. It was over 10,000 years ago that the dragons last returned to their slumber. The very existence of these tales, however, indicates that the dragons have awakened at least twice in history. Ancient documents found in the German Priorities collection reveal accounts passed down by the other races, such as the powerful seers and even the human gods themselves. Isn't this fascinating? We hear dragon stories all our lives, but they're usually fairy tales or stories intended to keep young children from misbehaving. I never thought them as a part of nature. They are ancient elder dragons, after all. If this is any indication, Scarlet's research into the dragons started early. I wonder what was it that attracted her to studying them. Their power, perhaps. Seems to be a theme with her. Yes, you're probably right. She probably wanted knowledge, too. Answers to life's biggest questions. She seems to have recognized early on that the dragons were part of something more. Something universal, yes.
She must have been young when she was here. It looks like she was still a student.
I will have a more distinct conclusion later, but my preliminary assessment is that, yes, we're seeing remnants of her early years.
Look at this. How long ago would you say Scarlet was here? It looks like she was already studying ley lines.
Not surprising. She was well ahead of her peers. We Asura have been studying them for decades.
But you didn't know much about them.
They are elusive.
Is this what I think it is? It looks like ley lines. What do you think?
This hand-drawn image is more symbolic than literal. It shows the world as a machine with various moving parts. The pale tree sits at its heart. Though crude, it's strangely beautiful, don't you agree? Do you think Scarlet made it? Maybe. It looks like it represents Tyria. Tyria, if you're a Slyvari. The pale tree is at the center. Didn't I hear that Scarlet strangled the pale tree in some sort of visions he had? Definitely had a love-hate relationship with the pale tree.
Do you think she was evil back then?
She was misunderstood.
She had to have always been evil. You don't suddenly turn evil overnight.
What about the branded? They did. They got corrupted.
Good point.
Hey, watch it with that tail. Oh, it's a steam minotaur!
Ow! Do you mind?
Inside voice, please, Tiny.
Timmy, you sound like a harpy.
Yeah, but did you see?
I see.
You're not even looking!
Partially disassembled steam minotaur. Come on, let me talk to Timmy. There we go. This steam creature may have been her prototype. It has flaws. What do you mean, flaws? Oh, I couldn't possibly explain it in terms that you would understand. You just have to trust me on it. If you say so.
No one's ever going to be able to decipher Scarlet's chicken scratchings. What is all this Asuran googly mook anyway? These symbols and things make me nervous.
Those are alchemagical symbols. I'm not exactly sure what they mean either, but I'll figure it out with time.
It looks like it was her diary. Take a look and tell me what you think. Alright. I hate this small room. It's hard to see anything. Dear diary, writing longhand is for the birds. I've discovered a device of Azuran origin that will allow me to record my journal from this point forward. Do not think I am ungrateful to you, but I must continue to evolve at every minute. The future awaits us all, and I plan to be amazing when it comes. This will be my last entry as an ink-splattering student. Starting tomorrow, I am a researcher, an engineer, and a visionary. I confess to a mixture of fear and excitement. I believe I found one of these mythic ley lines. If I can study it well, my understanding of Tyria's inner workings will increase in leaps and bounds. Who knows what the future will hold? I've never been very magic-minded. Both Omad and Scarlet were crazy. To think that we could see the whole world in one moment. It's ridiculous. Perhaps it's true. The mind is a powerful tool. Yeah, and some people don't use theirs enough. Wishful thinking won't get you through.
I think it's time to go. I've Got more important things to do.
You do, maybe, but I don't. This is the biggest day of my life. Look at all this Scarlet paraphernalia.
I agree with Bram.
You would. Look, you guys can go, but I'm not leaving. I need to document all this. I can use this to write the thesis that will make me famous.
I don't know.
She'll be okay. She's in a village. She's got a golem.
I guess it'll be okay. We'll be back for you later, Squeak. If you run into any trouble, find a Zephyrite. They can be trusted.
I will. Now stop worrying and let me get to work.
Let's get out of here, Bram. Between the dust and the weirdness, I'm done.
You be careful, kid. We'll be back later.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Tiny, stay out of trouble. We'll be back soon.
Hang on a second. There's a mention here of a miner who found a ley line hub that Scarlet was looking for. I wonder if she's still there. Maybe you could go see. She's a Nor named Tosca. What are you gonna do? I'm staying here. Do you realize the historical significance of this find? Not to mention the salvage rates. I'll be writing papers, treatises, and dissertations on this until I'm 80. I don't get the thorough. Well, no, of course you wouldn't. Being you. But for Nazura, this is a find of a lifetime. I was fated to be the one who discovered it. You were fated? Yes, I knew from the first moment I heard about Scarlet's fate and mine were intertwined. Now I shall be her biographer. I only wish I had a chance to speak with her. What do you think she was doing out here? My belief is that she found a ley line hub somewhere in this area. All the evidence points to it. I'm quite sure she was performing research at it and on it. It's so exciting. I hope we find it.
Scruffy, I need my supplies.
Okay, save the instance. Okay. You lost? No, I'm looking for a miner named Tosca. I have a question about the ley line hub. You found her. That's what the strange Slyvari female called the pocket of magical energy I tapped into when I was digging out in the wastes beyond town. You don't want to go anywhere near that. Maybe, but I still like to know the story. I was mining copper and broke through an inner chamber of the rock. Suddenly, a bright light blinded us all. We didn't go any deeper. Too dangerous. But it changed the direction of our digging. You told the Slyvari woman about this? Yes, and you should have seen her lit up. It was like as if it was dogs delivering her this magical energy out town, but it turned out west of town. But that tunnel caved in just after I told the Slyvari what I found. I always suspected she collapsed it and dug her own way in. I should find her and ask her about it. Dead. Gates of Maguma. Meet back in Prosperity. Word reached me of some trouble in Dry Top. Prosperity was just attacked. I'm heading in there to check on Tiny. Let's meet up and see if the kid's okay. I do. Ram.
behind me?
I'm here. I'm okay. Scruffy protected me. Are you all okay?
Oh. Whew. Yeah, we're okay too.
Everything started to shake. I barely had time to get into Scruffy.
Is she okay, Bram?
Yeah, she's okay. She hid in her golem.
I didn't hide. I was collecting important data.
Uh-huh.
Did I hear you say Timey's okay?
Fine. Collie.
What's happening?
I feel like the whole world is falling out from under us. I think we all feel that way. We've got a new dragon to contend with. Nothing will ever be the same. No, it won't. Mordremoth did this, and it's only just starting.
Mordremoth? Gods, we need a plan. What are we gonna do?
Do you really think all those vines are related to Mordremoth? All these deaths? I'm quite certain. What are we gonna do? We start by following Scarlet's trail. Scarlet believed she had seen the bigger picture. It was part of her delusion. I don't think we're bringing down the Zephyrite was part of Scarlet's plan, but was she and the saboteur talked about the destruction of Tyria? I know. Aaron said a Tyrian leader would die. This makes me think of someone or something was pulling the strings. That scares me the most about him. Trouble is, we have no idea who he meant. It could be anyone, though. The biggest threat to Mordremoth is probably Traherne. I hate the thought that Queen Jenna could be in danger, too. He said some other strange things, too. Yes, like, it would be so pleased, and I've seen the bigger picture. He sounded so much like Scarlet it was unnerving. I suspect we can learn from Scarlet, even posthumously. For the record, I agree this is Mordremoth's doing. It all started with Scarlet. We need to understand her. Did you see her voice recording? Her books, her papers? I'm just glad you're okay. What have you learned here? Lots of things. Like Scarlet started with the steam creatures, then graduated to ether and watchwork. She released a bunch of steam creatures into the wild. Oh, and she killed Omad. She killed Omad? He was her last mentor. He experimented on her with his mind-widening device, and that's when she saw the eternal alchemy, or what she thought was it. So she killed him for it? No, she killed him because once he realized his device worked, he was looking at her like she was a lab rat, not an assistant or a student. He was going to experiment more on her. I see, but surely Omad wouldn't have hurt her. Historically speaking, previous generations of Azura, including Omad, viewed the Slyvari as an anomaly to be studied. When the first Slyvari arrived, many were victimized in the interest of arcane knowledge. Do you have any new insights onto that drawing on the wall? Actually, I do. Based on Scarlet's writings and her holographic recorder over there, I've come up with a theory. I think that's the representation of her vision. Her vision? Her mentor Omad made a device that opened the mind. When she tried it, she had a vision. At the center of this is a symbol we've seen to represent the pale tree. You think she drew that after drawing? Yes. She claimed that she had seen the eternal alchemy during the vision. The symmetrical elements in the drawing and the pale tree at the center lead me to that conclusion. Why the pale tree? In her vision, she saw the pale tree was attacked by a red thorn vine. She described it as doing terrible damage to the pale tree. That sounds terrible. Did it bother her? It pleased her. She drew some thorny vines to strangle Omad. The parallel with the vines from her vision is not lost on me. What about the ley lines? Have you learned anything new? The most interesting thing of all, Scarlet theorized that her waypoint positioning coincides with the location of the most powerful ley lines. Was she right? Likely, but not yet confirmed. We need to do more research. I need to better understand the elements that drew her to that conclusion. Fascinating.
So, were you able to figure out what Scarlet was doing there?
She was studying ley lines, but I don't...
Hold on. Oh my! What's happening?
Hey, come look at this. There's a passage behind his bookshelf.
What? Get out of my way! Let me see!
Settle down. Let the boss go in first.
All right, but hurry up!
Come on, Frostbite. Let's go.
The Hay Top by Nick Stanford, 70 or 1070 AE, after Exodus. Now a barren landscape, this rounded basin may have held water many millennia ago. Sand now covers everything, blowing on the wind and eroding all, rocks and inhabitants alike. Unknown to the sentient beings that once built the fragile hillside homes high on the cliffsides, some structures still linger, but will also fall victim to the blowing sand and hot sun. The area attracts outlaws on the run with something to hide, or those who are unwelcoming among civilized folk for one reason or another. This makes the area dangerous to travelers such as me and Yackington. Migrating centaur packs come through here, it seems. There is evidence that they once had a refuge here. A huge tree trunk, quite out of place, could have been one of their sacred trees. Despite the appearances, this waterless area is far from lifeless, and it serves as a doorway into the Maguma jungle, a region of uncontrollable growth, life, and often death. On the open page of this book, Scarlet drew a route leading up and out of her tunnel to a higher region of the top. It points on Scarlet's map. Trace a path winding across the higher region of the dry top to some unknown destination where she drew the crisscrossing lightning bolts. Snow, titled Exergnet, is a complex set of equations, drawing, engineering blueprints. What we got here? This piece of paper was torn from a book. Letters sent home from soldiers and the Cornan army have given us great insight into their lives. In the 11th century AE, their leader, Varesh Asa, inspired great loyalty. In one particular speech, Asa praised her military and encouraged them to use persuasive abilities to build the power of Korna from the inside. She said, "If properly convinced, you can get whole groups of lesser creatures to work towards your goals without them realizing they're not working for themselves." Asa cites the alliance between centaurs and Kornan's craft people as an example. Together they produce better armor and weapons, and they provided for the Kornan people's day-to-day needs. Found something? You found something, didn't you? Scarlet left a map showing she was headed someplace to the southwest. That leads to the line discovered. Stay here with the others for now. I'm going to see where this takes me. Scarlet? Please.
That looks valuable.
we are.
I feel strong.
Keep it. So many branches. Kind of a pain in the butt here. Alright.
I will end this swiftly.
Stop. Wrong side.
Grubby hand up, I suppose.
I'm ahead of myself. Alrighty, I'm gonna cut it on this one, and thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you, and have a good one.